Why is it safe to go anywhere with Jesus? We've been talking for the last 2 weeks about traditional words in theology which need to be re-examined in the light of our authority with Scripture. That's what theology is. Theology is continually re-examining what we say and believe in the light of our authority. And when we re-examine omnipresence and omniscience, we find that they don't match up with what the Bible teaches, but it's very important not to do what the proverb says, throw out the baby with the bathwater. Omniscience and omnipresence are not taught in Scripture. We're told about how God can be surprised, and we're told about his coming and going and his throne. It's not a Hindu or New Age kind of omnipresence. That's just not it. But let's look at the positive side. Anywhere with Jesus, we can safely go. Why? Because anywhere we go, he is with us. Anywhere we go, he is with us because he has come to be in us. As Jesus said to the disciples on the last night before the crucifixion, promising the presence of God in their hearts, he said, he is with you and shall be in you. I am with you and shall be in you. We don't get 1/3 of God. He said that he would come to be in us, and that his Father and he would come to be in us, and that his Spirit would be in us. That's God, Father, Son, and Spirit. When you look at Psalm 139, which is often quoted to say God's everywhere, you see that it doesn't really say that. It says that anywhere you go, he can be there. David said, if I go to the ends of the earth, you're there. Well, yes. Wherever you go, he's there. If I go to the east or to the west or the rising of the sun or up or whatever, all those things, wherever I go, you're there. I can't get away from your presence. That's good. Because his presence will follow you. And God's continual presence with you is a sure promise. There's no place you can go where you say, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you if you go there. Saudi Arabia? Oh, listen, that's a bad place. But if you go there, he'll be there. I don't recommend it as a holiday destination, but wherever you go, he will be with you. And so anywhere with Jesus, you can safely go. Don't go where he isn't leading you. Don't put him to the test. Don't tempt God. But he will be with you wherever you go. I will never leave you, never forsake you. He says, though you go deep waters, fire, I won't desert you. I'll always be with you. He said that even in the Old Testament. He is in us now, but he promised even then to be with his people wherever they went. Not only that, but he sees everywhere now. He sees inside Saudi Arabia. He sees wherever anyone is. He sees the whole universe. Everything is open to his eyes. For us, there can be things that get in the way. The astronomers have wonderful telescopes, but they have trouble seeing through the Earth's atmosphere. That interferes with what they see. There are things they can't see because of the atmosphere in the way. So they put a telescope out in space. Wonderful. But there are still things they can't see. And they bring back wonderful pictures and they say, well, we don't know what's behind that. That's a cloud of some kind of a dark dust cloud, maybe. But God sees everywhere. He knows what's behind all those dust clouds, all those nebulae. He sees everywhere. He also sees, bringing it down to smaller things, he sees inside your heart. He sees inside your mind. He is with us wherever we go. Never, never lose sight of that. whatever it is you're going through, He will go through it with you. I am not a great admirer of all the little cute plaques that are for sale in religious stores. But there is one which appeared some time ago, I don't know whether it was 10 years or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, which is absolutely true. It is really good, and that's the Footsteps one. I'm sure you've all seen it. And it has a little poem with it about footsteps in the sand, and God is going with you wherever you go. And then the person says, but there are places, and there was the toughest times in my life where there's only one set of footsteps. Where were you? And it says, well, that's where I was carrying you, John. That's where I was carrying you. And there have been times in my life when He has carried me. And I think it's probably true for each one. And He will carry you. He will never let you go. He will never let too much happen to you. 1 Corinthians 10:13 is wonderful. It presents a problem for pastors. One of my most serious problems as a pastor is when people come to me and say that this is what I'm facing and it's too much for me. What am I going to do? The Bible says it'll never be too much for them, and they say it's too much for them. I say, I'm really sorry you presented me with a terrible problem. I have to believe either what you're saying or that God is a liar. Or that God is true. Either you're right or God's right. And I'm sorry it's not a difficult choice for me. So I have to tell you it's not too much for you, because God says it's not too much for you. He says, I will never let anything come into your life that's too much for you. I won't do it. Whatever comes, I'll make a way of escape that you may be able to bear it. Now, some people have turned that around and made a horror out of it, saying, well, God won't send me any horrible thing today I can't handle. No. God is not sending the horrible